Ferrari is struggling again. After finishing second in the Constructors' Championship in 2024, many thought 2025 would finally be their year. With Hamilton joining and a big car redesign, the hype was huge. But as the season has unfolded, it's become clear that things are not going as planned. And that's why fans often say, Ferrari is cursed. Every season begins with big talk, but it always ends in disappointment. But it's not just bad luck or bad vibes. Ferrari's problems come from real technical flaws, strategy mistakes, and sometimes the wrong choices at the top. So in this video, we'll look back at Ferrari's painful past and the struggles they face today, but we'll mainly focus on what really matters, the future. First, the near future and how the rest of 2025 could play out, and then the further future, with the huge 2026 regulation changes that might finally give Ferrari the reset they've been waiting for. And along the way, we'll uncover some truths about Ferrari that most fans don't see, the reasons behind their struggles, and what might finally change everything. So let's start right with the future, because that's where the real hope lies. Ferrari is already fully focused on developing their car for the 2026 season. That season will bring brand new regulations, a 50-50 split between the internal combustion engine and electrical power. This change is massive, and it plays directly into Ferrari's historic strengths. For decades, Ferrari has been one of the best engine builders in Formula 1. They are not just another team buying engines. They built both the chassis and the power unit under one roof in Maranello. The seamless integration could be a huge advantage when everyone has to design completely new cars. Very few teams have that kind of full control. Insiders are already saying Ferrari and Mercedes might be the strongest teams when the new era begins. But of course, nothing is guaranteed. Other teams could step up, new challengers could emerge, and history has shown that Formula 1 can change in an instant. Just because Ferrari might have an advantage doesn't mean they'll automatically dominate, so 2026 could still be full of surprises. But before we actually dive deeper into the future, it's worth asking, why is Ferrari putting so much emphasis on these new rules in the first place? The answer is simple. Right now, in 2025, things are still falling apart. This season was supposed to be different. Ferrari made radical changes before the year started. They brought in Lewis Hamilton, redesigned their car, and raised expectations sky high. After finishing second in 2024, just 14 points behind the title winners, many thought 2025 could finally be the year Ferrari would fight properly for the championship again. But the dream ended almost immediately. In Australia, Ferrari finished only P8 and P10. Then in China, they suffered a double disqualification. From there, it became clear the car was not fast enough. Most races, the drivers ended somewhere between P3 and P10. That's not the performance of a team ready to win. There were some weekends where the drivers looked sharp and motivated, but also disasters like Zandvoort, where both cars didn't even finish, with Leclerc being crashed into by another driver. Monza should have been a highlight, Ferrari's home race, but they only managed P4 and P6. The worst part, after the race, the team openly admitted that was the maximum they could achieve. They said it was almost impossible to do better. And that's depressing for fans. Ferrari spent months hyping a big mid-season upgrade. People thought this was going to change the story, but when the parts arrived, the car was only a little bit faster. The hype ended quickly. So that's why we need to ask, what's the car's main problem? It turns out it's ride height sensitivity. Of course, that's not the only issue, but it's the most defining one. The car is so sensitive that to avoid illegal plank wear, Ferrari must run it higher than they'd like. That kills aerodynamic performance, especially in fast corners. This is why they can look competitive one weekend and completely lost the next. It's not just about the drivers, it's baked into the design of the car. And remember, this is after they made the bold move of replacing Carlos Sainz with Hamilton. Fans expected big results, but instead, Ferrari got a season where a race win seems almost impossible. And here's the sad part, this isn't new. Ferrari fans have seen this same movie for years. So it's been almost 2 decades since Ferrari last won a Drivers' Championship. That was back in 2007 with Kimi Raikkonen. Since then, it has been a painful cycle of hope and heartbreak. Fernando Alonso came close in 2010 and 2012, but missed out. Sebastian Vettel looked like he might finally bring the title back in 2017 and 2018, but those chances collapsed. Charles Leclerc showed huge promise early on, but the team never gave him a car good enough to fight all the way. The worst part, every time Ferrari gets close, the fans believe again. The hype builds, the dreams rise, and then they collapse. The 2024 season was a perfect example. Ferrari finished just 14 points behind McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. That created massive hope that 2025 would be the year, but instead we are back to the same frustration. Ferrari's fanbase is like no other. They are loyal, emotional, sometimes wild, but even the most passionate fans can only handle so much disappointment. That's why the question of Ferrari's future is so emotional. And if history has been this painful, can Hamilton and Leclerc really be the drivers to break the curse? Hamilton has struggled this season. He's made mistakes and adapting to the Ferrari hasn't been easy. But if we analyze historical trends, the way the new 2026 regulations are written suggests he could actually be very strong once they take effect, and the car might finally suit him. And because it looks like he could be strong, his motivation might naturally go up, and when he's motivated, he drives even better. It's a cycle that feeds itself, performance and motivation going hand in hand. Leclerc, on the other hand, has been one of the most adaptable drivers in recent years. He learns fast, he pushes the car to the limit, and he rarely gives up. Even in 2025, with a car that isn't good enough, he's managed to grab podiums. In 2026, he should have no problem adjusting to a new driving style. The issue is that right now, both drivers are pushing the Ferrari to the absolute edge of what it can do, and the edge is simply not enough. That's why they can't consistently fight for wins. But in the right car, these two drivers could be unstoppable. Still, even the best drivers need something Ferrari has often lacked: stability. For years, Ferrari has been known for leadership chaos. Team bosses came and went, strategies changed constantly, and there was never stability. That hurt the team massively. But now, things are different. Frederic Vasseur is staying in charge, and he's giving Ferrari the steady hand it has been missing. He is known for keeping teams calm even in bad times, and his plan is clear: survive the pain of 2025 and build a winning package for 2026. But of course, stability alone won't win championships. And that's the problem. The reality is that 2025 is already a lost season. Ferrari themselves admitted after Monza that their car is maxed out. They are already extracting everything they can. Sure, podiums are possible, and maybe on a crazy weekend they could even sneak a win. But if it happens, it will be an exception, not the rule. Just like Mercedes shocked in Canada or Verstappen surprised in Monza. The truth is McLaren, Verstappen and Russell are simply too fast. The only hope for Ferrari is at tracks like Azerbaijan or Singapore, where the unique layouts can mix things up. But apart from that, 2025 is practically lost. The car has no more performance to give, and the drivers are already at the limit. So where does that leave Ferrari? In 2025, it's been another roller coaster. A season that started with massive hope has turned into another year of frustration. Since 2007, Ferrari has been stuck in a cycle of hype followed by collapse, and this year is no different. But 2026 might finally be different. Ferrari's strengths in engine building, their full factory integration, a powerful driver pairing in Hamilton and Leclerc, and the steady leadership of Vasseur all give them a real chance. So yes, Ferrari is still struggling, but maybe, just maybe, 2026 is their last best chance to finally end a drought that's lasted almost 20 years.